Greetings everyone, and welcome. I'm the Chancellor Soul Mike Boone. You tune in to another edition of Soul Facts, a show highlighting the history and music of legendary artists and preserving their legacy. West Coast versus Country Soul, an unusual combination that cross-fertilized and made popular by this particular female artist that made her one of the most beloved performers of our time. Soul Facts Spotlight artist, Miss Bettye Swann.
Oh, there will be peace in the valley.
Bettye Jean Champion, better known to the music world as Bettye Swann, was born on Tuesday, October 24th, 1944, one out of 14 children in Arcadia, Louisiana. Although she planted her musical roots in the church, Champion started singing secular music while in high school and took part in a local girl group called the Fawns in Bettye's hometown of Arcadia. In 1963, at the age of 19, Champion moved to Los Angeles, California to live with her family. In 1964, Bettye was discovered by songwriter Huey Harris, who saw potential in the young singer. Harris then referred her to his friend DJ Al Scott, who was the A&R man at Money Records. Money Records was founded by legendary record entrepreneur John Dolphin, who first owned his infamous Dolphins of Hollywood 24-hour record store in 1948, which became a prime factor in the interception of R&B music in the West Coast that also would add a radio station in the store. Sadly, on Saturday, February 1st, 1958, John Dolphin was murdered at his desk by a longtime store employee named Percy Ivy, who became upset when Dolphin wouldn't give him a record deal. His wife, Ruth Dolphin, took over the business after his death. The Money imprint was reactivated during the 1960s soul era. DJ Al Scott was so impressed with Champion's talent, he instantly signed her on the Money label in 1964. You know, there are two stories on how Bettye Swann was given her stage name. In an interview with John Abbey in the UK magazine Blues and Soul, issued in June of 1972, Bettye says she went back to her high school days when she sang with the group called the Fawns. Now, somewhere in her mind there was a link with Swann, and which became her last stage name. Bettye says she also added the E to her first name just to be different. Now, the second story was that Al Scott, her manager, felt her given name wasn't professional, so he changed her last name Champion to Swann and added on an E to her first name, Bettye. You be the judge, but me, I'll stick to Bettye's 1972 interview story. Anyway, Al Scott became her manager and also the band leader for the Money label. Now becoming Bettye Swann and a brilliant songwriter in her own right, composed her first tune entitled Don't Wait Too Long, back with What Is My Life Coming To, charting number 38 on Billboard's Hot Rhythm and Blues singles on February 27th of 1965.
The things come to those who wait, but don't wait too long. What is my life coming to? What have I done to be so blue?
Two more follow-ups, The Man That Said No, back with What Can It Be, and The Heartache Is Gone, back with Our Love, were co-written by Bettye with unfortunately uncharted issues.
He was the man that said no. He was the man that I loved so. Darling, what can it be? You keep on saying that you're gonna leave me. Don't feel offended, it's no use pretending. The heartache is gone, yeah. Baby, our love is
An LP entitled Don't Wait Too Long was planned for release, but later shelved by the company. Meanwhile, Bettye Swann appeared on the ABC TV musical variety show Shindig and performed The Man That Said No in 1965, backed by the Blossoms. Bettye began touring the soul revue shows around the country, including the world-famous Apollo Theater in Harlem, New York on Saturday, February 11, 1966, with heavyweights like Otis Redding, Percy Sledge, Arthur Conley, the Five Stairsteps, Betty Harris, the Manhattans, and James Carr, with Sad Sam as the show's MC. Bettye Swann's next masterpiece composition will propel her to stardom. Make Me Yours. The session took place on Friday, February 3rd, 1967 at the Audios Arts Custom Recording Studios at Melrose Avenue in Hollywood, California. Now, the session players were James Carmichael, future producer for the Commodores and Lionel Richie's during the 70s and 80s, on piano, Bob West, who co-composed the Jackson 5's 1970 classic I'll Be There, on bass, legendary artists Roy Ayers and Alton Hammond and Gary Coleman on vibes, Charles Wright of the Soul Runners, who later became the Watts Hunt Third Street Rhythm Band, and Les Blue on guitars. The horn players were Jackie Kelso on tenor sax, John Williams on baritone sax, Melvin Moore, Freddie Hill on trumpets, and John Ewing on trombone.
Now that I found you, I wanna stay around you, so make me yours.
Make Me Yours, back with another classic by Swann, I Will Not Cry, zoomed to the #1 position on July 22nd, 1967 on the R&B charts for 2 weeks, and #21 pop also on the 22nd of July. You know, the B-side, I Will Not Cry's chord progressions remind me so much of another masterpiece recording by Dionne Warwick in 1964 called Walk On By. Take a listen to see if you agree. A self-titled album entitled Make Me Yours was issued during the summer of 1967, but failed to chart because of lack of promotion from the label. Bettye Swann's fifth money issue, Fall in Love with Me, back with Lonely Love, didn't fare too well, charting only #36 R&B on November 4th of 1967.
All you gotta do for our love, it's true. Fall in love with me. Fall in love. You won't be lonely no more.
After 2 more minor releases, Don't Look Back, a remake of the Temptations' classic hit of 1965, back with You Gave Me Love,
Keep on walking, don't look back. You gave me love. You let your heart surrender.
and Don't Take My Mind, back with I Think I'm Falling in Love,
Please have mercy, baby. Don't take my mind. I think I'm falling in love. Yeah.
failed to chart. Bettye Swann departed from the Money imprint after her contract expired in the summer of 1968 and relieved DJ Al Scott as her manager. A new change was about to take place in Bettye's life. In 1968, after leaving Money Records, Bettye Swann married her new manager, George Barton, then moved to Athens, Georgia, where Barton had operations on the R&B circuit in the South. Swann did return back to Los Angeles and signed with Capitol Records in October of 1968 and was assigned a new producer, Wayne Schuler, son of Eddie Schuler, legendary founder of Gold Band Records in 1945, known for his R&B, Cajun, country, and rockabilly recordings. Schuler worked his way into the business as an A&R man and producer. Bettye Swann's first issue on Capitol was two of her compositions. My Heart Is Closed for the Season, back with I'm Lonely For You, received no chart action.
And my heart is closed for the season. I'm lonely for you, baby.
Wayne Schuler presented Swann with a song written by legendary country singer-songwriter Hank Cochran, Don't Touch Me, a tune that Schuler thought was tailor-made for Bettye. It was originally recorded by country singer Jeannie Seely in 1966.
Don't touch me if you don't love me, sweetheart.
Swann was the first reluctant to do the song, but with a little encouragement from Schuler, she finally agreed to do it her way. Schuler's idea worked, as Don't Touch Me, back with a former A-side first release of My Heart Is Closed for the Season, hit number 14 R&B on March 29th of 1969.
Oh, don't touch me if you don't love me. Don't do it, sweetheart. My heart is closed for the season.
An LP entitled The Soul View Now, released in 1969, featured the hit Don't Touch Me, charted number 48 on Billboard Soul LP on June 21st of 1969.
Don't do it, sweetheart.
Capitol issued more singles on Bettye Swann from 1969 to 1970, including No Faith, No Love, back with Angel of the Morning, the Merrily Rush and the Turnabouts hit of 1968.
Then you've got no faith, no faith, no faith, no faith. We've got no love. Just call me Angel of the Morning, Angel.
Don't You Ever Get Tired of Hurting Me, back with Willie and Laura Mae Jones.
Don't you ever get tired of hurting me. Willie and Laura Mae Jones were my folks. We had neighbors a long time back. They lived in the country down the road from us in a shack just like our shack.
Little Things Mean a Lot, back with Just Because You Can't Be Mine.
These are just little things. Little things. Oh, but they mean a lot. I guess it's just because you can't be mine.
The 1965 Marvin Gaye classic remake of Ain't That Peculiar, back with Don't Let It Happen to Us.
Ain't it peculiar? Peculiarity. Ain't it peculiar, baby? Seems so strange to me. We won't let it happen to us. Say you won't let it happen to us.
All failed to chart. With 4 unsuccessful singles and lack of support from the company, Bettye Swann left Capitol Records in 1970. Bettye Swann inked a short-term production deal with Rick Hall's Fame Records, located in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and cut one single on Fame entitled I Can't Let You Break My Heart, back with I'm Just Living a Lie, released in March of 1971.
You're gonna break my heart. But do you really wanna know what makes it so bad? Tell myself I don't love you no more, but I know I'm living a lie.
things didn't work out at Fame, she moved to Atlantic Records and recorded 2 masterpiece songs that returned her back to the R&B charts, with Victim of a Foolish Heart, back with Cold Day in Hell, hitting number 16 R&B July 1st of 1972.
Baby, don't be a victim of a foolish heart. Don't let her lies get next to you. There'll be a cold day in hell when I stop loving you. When I stop loving you, I just can't forget all the love we had.
And a classic Merle Haggard, Buck Owens composition, Today I Started Loving You, back with another James B-side remake of I'd Rather Go Blind, hitting number 26 R&B February 17th of 1973.
Today I started loving you again. I'm right back where I started from, where I've always been. Baby, I'd rather go blind. Let me sit here and see you walk away from me.
Both songs were backed by the great session musicians, affectionately calling themselves the Fame Gang. Her third single, Till I Get It Right, back with Yours Until Tomorrow.
So I'll just keep on falling in love until I get it right. So let me be yours until tomorrow.
Reached the lower portion of the R&B charts, number 88. Meanwhile, she became good friends with another great female artist, Miss Candy Staton.
Be mad till the dawn.
You know, there's an interesting story on Bettye Swann's recording of Today I Started Loving You Again. The year was 1969. Bettye Swann wanted to record the song and present it to producer Wayne Schuler. Schuler was reluctant because Bettye wanted to do an up-tempo version of the song, but Wayne felt a slower duet version with legendary country singer-songwriter Buck Owens was visionary, and which did take place. When Ken Nelson, head of the country division of Capitol Records, found out, he went ballistic. But Owens was all prepared to feature Bettye on his nationally syndicated CBS variety TV show, Hee Haw, while DJs was pleading for the song. The top officials of Capitol felt that it would be detrimental to Buck Owens' career to be seen doing a duet love song with a black woman on national television. However, there is an alternate version before the hit release single on Atlantic Records in 1972, featured on a CD Capitol compilation on Bettye Swann, released in 2004. Here's a little taste for you soul fans out there.
And today I started loving you all over again.
Bettye recorded her next 2 singles at the legendary Sigma Sound Studios in Philadelphia with The Boy Next Door, back with Kiss My Love Goodbye, number 71 R&B on June 1st, 1974.
He sure turned out to be a sleeper. He used to be the boy next door. Ooh. And kiss my love goodbye. It's a cold, cold day and you know where.
And Time to Say Goodbye, back with When the Game is Played on You, between 1973 and 1974. Well, after a few more were issued on Atlantic, All the Way In or All the Way Out, back with Doing for the One I Love, her last charted single, number 85 R&B on June 22nd, 1975.
And you're all the way in, or all the way out. 'Cause do it for the one I love, just do it for me.
Heading in the right direction, back with Be Strong Enough to Hold On.
Am I headed in the
However, there's a rare unofficial two-sided Atlantic 45 with Bettye Swann's 1973 issue of Kiss My Love Goodbye, back with a song by singer-songwriter Prince Philip Mitchell called I'm So Happy. Soon afterwards, Bettye Swann departed from Atlantic Records. Swann's last effort was a duet with singer-songwriter Sam Dees called Storybook Children on Big Tree Records, back with Justice Shore. Storybook Children was originally recorded by Billy Vera and the late Judy Clay on Atlantic Records in late 1967.
Why can't we be like storybook children? Just as sure as red is red and blue is blue, I'm in love with you.
Sadly, the single failed to gain any interest.
Just as sure as night is night and day is day, nobody.
In 1980, Bettye Swann's husband and manager George Barton passed away in Las Vegas. Afterwards, Swann retired from the music business and even changed her name. She embarked on education helping children and became a Jehovah's Witness.
Until I get it right.
Bettye Swann's experience in the music business didn't come without hard knocks or issues. One time while traveling to Mississippi with her husband George Barton and singer Candy Staton, they stopped at a local gas station. While Barton filled the tank, Bettye and Candy asked the gas attendant could they use their bathroom. The attendant quoted, "Our bathroom ain't for niggers." George responded, "If we're not good enough to use your bathroom, then we don't want your gas." They paid a few dollars for the gas and scurried. You know, out of all the songs Bettye Swann composed over the years with Money, Capital, and Atlanta, she shamefully never made much money, except for a small income from the various CD compilations released over the years. And believe me, there were plenty. More hard lessons learned in the music business. And I guess that's why she got out while she did. Bettye retired from the educational system and continued to reside in Las Vegas, Nevada. You know, throughout the years, various music fans, writers, and different people often wondered the whereabouts of Bettye Swann. Where could she be? Well, by popular demand and the admiration of her adoring global fans, seeked her out of hibernation when she made a guest appearance at a Cleethorpes weekend located in North End, Lincolnshire, England on Sunday, June 9th, 2013, singing her classic hits such as Make Me Yours, Today I Started Loving You Again, Victim of a Foolish Heart, and many others. A fun time was had by all who attended. You know, to have a talent is one thing. To have an exceptional talent is extraordinary. Bettye Swann is an enormous talent whose gifted abilities as an artist to breathe life into lyrics as a vocalist and as a composer. God bless you, Bettye. We'll never stop loving you. You always continue to be ours forever. Let's just be thankful that the music outlives the woman. Until we meet again musically, I am the Chancellor of Soul.
Now that I found you, I want to stay around you. So make me yours.
Soul Facts, a show written, created, produced, and copywritten by the Chancellor of Soul, Mike Boone, and is a non-profit music presentation.